All right, so I'm going to attempt to break down some basic neuroscience for people in the 3-minute time limit that they give me here on TikTok, just to explain why you can't reason with cops and soldiers, because everybody talking about all the conspiracies now is great, but nobody's talking about like how these evil psychopaths at the top get their will done, which is through the police and military, and is brainwashing them. So I'm going to explain how this is done. Anyway, so most people don't know this, but the human being actually has 3 brains. You have the reptile brain, the mammalian brain, and the telencephalon or neocortical brain, the high part of the brain, all right? So basically, when you're, the base brain, the reptile brain, controls like motor functions, fight or flight, kill or be killed, the ability to talk. I'm using my reptile brain to control, the fact that I'm speaking to you right now, okay? So anyway, like for example, when somebody does something shitty, they're not using their high brain to think about it, they're just reacting, which is why people say that's cold-blooded, because it comes from the reptile part of the brain, right? So anyway, above that now you have the mammalian system or the limbic system, right? Which basically that's how, when your neurons fire from the base to the high part of the brain, it gets filtered through there, which is where you get your ability to feel sympathy from, which is kind of important, which has everything to do with what we're talking about, and feel bad and consequence for other people and the actions that you take, right? And above that, then you have the telencephalon and the neocortical part of the brain, the high parts of the brain, which are the human part of the brain and like the newest parts, which is split into 2 different hemispheres, right? The left and the right side. But anyway, so the idea is when you go into a boot camp, what they do is they use repetition, indoctrination. They want to feed you all sorts of foods with carbohydrates that don't stimulate brain function, because they're literally trying to root you from the reptile part of the brain, which basically shoots from the low part to the high part without being filtered through the mid part, which is where you get feeling and sympathy for people and stuff, which is why you can't talk to these people, because they've been literally broken, which is why they call it breaking these people, you know what I mean? So anyway, what's it called? They know this, and that this is how they make people into like robots, basically, is that they get the neurons to go from the low to the high brain without filtering it, right? And again, they just keep doing this by repetition, indoctrination. They isolate you from people because they don't want someone like me coming along being like, hey, that might not be the best idea, what you're doing to your brain over there, And this is how you get robot soldiers. And they've been using these techniques since the dawn of time, and they keep working, and these people keep falling for it, and it's all over the place, and people don't understand how it works. So that's just a quick basic breakdown of how neuroscience works through boot camps or whatever. There's much more on the website if you want to check the link below in much greater detail, but I'm limited here, and I'm also not the best at explaining this stuff. I write jokes, so hey, have a nice day.